All right, welcome back, True Seeker. Take two. Somehow the last live stream dropped my face from the screen and the audio component. I've never seen it do that before. But it looks like we're good this time. And sadly, the topic of the day is another death in the world of celebrity. This time it's Jewell Caples, known as the First Lady of Death Row Records, reportedly dead at age 53 on Friday, May 6th, 2022. And her dying on 5/6 stands out because we just saw Dr. Dre at age 56 perform in Super Bowl 56, along with Snoop Dogg. And of course, all three were on Death Row Records. So let's look at some familiar patterns. Again, if you're new here, we're going to talk about Gematria. There's a song out there called Gematria, the Killing Name. There's another song out there called Murder by Numbers by the Police, where killings as simple as ABC 1 2 3. And there's a lot of familiar patterns here that we talk about again and again. But recall Los Angeles, the Rams won the Super Bowl on February 13th, 213 in the 213 area code. And from the day of that game, February 13th, to her death, May 6th, is a span of 83 days, where in the language of Gematria, both football and murder equal 83. If you're new here, it's a very simple code. It's A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z, the 26 letters 26. And it's also running the alphabetic order in reverse, where Z is 1 back to A is 26. The song Murder by Numbers and the movie poster Murder by Numbers both pay tribute to the numbers 38 and 83. You can see in the movie poster the E to the 3 and the B to the 8. The star of that film is Sandra Bullock, whose name equals 83, just like the word murder. And of course, the song Murder by Numbers also came out in 83. And with regards to the 38, not only is she dead 83 days from Super Bowl 56 on 5/6, but she's also dead a span of 38 days from her upcoming June 12th birthday. And words like death, murder, killing, and RIP all have Gematria 38. We see these patterns again and again. We were just talking about the death of Kevin Samuels, synced up with Future, who's 38 years old right now, who was born in 83. And again, if you're new here, your mind will be blown once you realize how often these same patterns persist in the world of celebrity. It happens a lot. I'm talking about it multiple times a month, every single month. And you'll notice also it was a span of 5 weeks and 3 days to her upcoming birthday, kind of like how she's dead at 53. This is a number that also connects with football and the feminine. If you've read my first book, Letters and Numbers, the number 53 represents the feminine, but it's also important to football. And if you follow the NFL, you likely know that there's a 53-man roster, a 53-yard wide field. The reason why is right here. What's considered the most pure cipher in Gematria, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, Vesica Pisces equals 53. If you run it in reverse with numerology, it equals 82. And she's dead a span of 83 days from the Super Bowl. You could also say she's dead 82 days after the Super Bowl. So these numbers relate to the shape of the football, which is the Vesica Pisces, which is the most important shape in sacred geometry, where Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, means geometry in language. Also, keep in mind, Los Angeles has that Gematria 53, and the Rams did lose in Super Bowl 53 to the Patriots, a team that also equals 53. 53 is the 16th prime. You might recall there were 16 points scored in that game. The score was 13-3. And look at football when you run it in reverse. It's also 133. They beat LA with 13 points in that game. You might notice that LA's 13-41. Might remind you of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, dead at ages 13-41. And again, that was while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age, and Kobe Bryant's 41. Again, you learn this knowledge, you see through the ritual, and you also understand who is behind the ritual. With regards to her dying on 5/6, it's about more than just Super Bowl 56. Again, we just talked about this with Kevin Samuels. When he first died, he was reportedly dead at age 56. And I pointed out right away it didn't make sense because he was born in 65, so he should be 57. And they've now since changed his death headlines to 57, but then there's other places online where he should actually even be younger than that. So anyway, the point is, when the news first broke, it's not arbitrary that they reported that he died at age 56. For some reason, he goes by the title Dr. Kevin Samuels, even though he's not really a doctor. But Dr. Kevin Samuels also has that Gematria 56, like Black Lives Matter, like Society of Jesus. And in light of this woman being dead on 5/6 and connected to Death Row Records, remember Snoop Dogg, who had the album with Death Row Records, Murder Was the Case, that was based on a murder that happened August 25th, 93, 56 days before his birthday on October 20th. And of course, in the music video, they got the actor Gregory Cummins to play the part of the devil, and he was born in 56. And if you watch the music video, pause it at 56 seconds and tell me what's going on in that video. Keep in mind, if you haven't seen the music video, the man who plays the devil morphs into Jesus. And interestingly enough, when you write out Church of Satan, it equals 56 in the same cipher as Society of Jesus. They just turned 56 years old on April 30th. And recall that was the day the country star died, Naomi Judd, right after the 56th Country Music Awards, only for her to be inducted on the anniversary of the Illuminati's establishment, which was created by Adam Weishaupt, a member of the Society of Jesus. 56 is a number that represents light in Gematria, where Illuminati means in the light. Again, watch the Snoop Dogg Murder Was the Case music video with this knowledge in mind, and you'll see it in a different light. Okay. Moving on, other things that are interesting. And by the way, if you're new here, these murder rituals again with 83, so redundant. Football rituals in 83, so redundant. We just saw the Denver Broncos stadium catch on fire on the 83rd day of the year, where Colorado's 83, football's 83, and that was Peyton Manning's birthday. Tom Brady, the face of the league's born August 3rd, another 8-3 date. So again, 83 days from the Super Bowl, 38 days from the birthday. And notice in the article about her death, they say that her song Woman to Woman reached number 72 on the Billboard chart. 72 is a huge number with the Jesuits. Going back to the Murder Was the Case album, back then, right on the album, if you still have the album, you can see that Snoop Dogg was born in 1972 because his birthday is on the cover. But Google in recent years has changed his birthday to 1971, which is interesting. Anyhow, 72 is a big number with the Jesuits. She died at age 53, which means she died in her 54th year of life. And again, for people confused by that, when you are born, you start your first year of life. When you turn 1, you begin your second year of life. So when she would have turned 54, she would have begun her 55th year of life. But the point is, 54 and 72, big numbers with the Jesuits. It's the less formal title for Society of Jesus. Snoop Dogg just put out the album Murder Music shortly after his mother's death. And I just want you to see how in Gematria, murder music is the exact same as Jesuit order in all 4 ciphers. Murder music with the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, the exact same in all ciphers. Now, in today's story, which is a clear Jesuit ritual, they got to point out that her top song was 72 on the charts. Adding to it all, the name Jewell Caples equals 201 like the Jesuit order. Again, look into Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation 1 month before the outbreak put on by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab. Look into Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, the first to live in Suite 201, whose birth name Jorge Mario Bergoglio is 201. Look into the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, whose name is 201. Look into Catherine the Great, who preserved the Jesuit order with 201 Jesuit priests. Again, big number with the Jesuits. And in the world of entertainment, if you had 100 people in a room who were all equally as talented, what the Jesuits would do is they'd run your birthday, they'd run your name gematria, and they'd say, okay, here's our 5 favorite candidates, because not only do they have the talent, they got the numbers. And this is why the entire world of entertainment's encoded this way, and these people end up dying in these perfect death rituals, because the other sick thing about this is these people are planning this stuff out decades in advance. And it's why so many people who follow the work, they think it's more than just humans. They think there's some kind of demonic entity that's also part of the ritual. Some people think it's aliens. Some people think it's Anunnaki. It is something. There's something truly evil behind all of this. And again, the point of understanding this work is to realize, like, if you're out there buying tickets to concerts, to sports games, all this stuff you can invest in the world of entertainment, realize you are truly investing in evil because these industries are evil, evil, evil. And this stuff goes on all the time. In light of it being the Society of Jesus, don't forget that part of the Christian religion is the belief that God sacrifices human life for the betterment of the world. That's essentially the story of Jesus. And an impossible name, I'll remind you, because there were no J's in the time of Jesus. Anyhow, since her music recording career, she's been running a YouTube channel, The Art of Dialogue, which she established November 9th, 2011. If you count November 9th through the end of the year, December 31st, that's a total of 53 days. Dead at 53. From Dr. Dre's birthday to her death, May 6th, is 77 days later. Notice how Death Row Records and The Art of Dialogue, the name of her channel, are both 77 forwards, 85 in reverse. From Snoop Dogg's birthday to her death was her 199th day of her age. And just to go back and remind you about this pattern, John Fletcher of Houdini died at age 56. He did the song Friends, and then Snoop Dogg was in the Corona commercial right after that with his song playing, Friends, but John Fletcher died on his, or 199 days after his birthday. The 46th prime number, where Houdini and Sacrifice are 46. And again, Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice, and rap is 46. And with regards to him dying at 56, John Fletcher and Society of Jesus 56. And yeah, again, I mean, just the rituals are so numerous. Snoop Dogg's mother, again, died right before Super Bowl 56, right before he put out Murder Music. And there was a whole lot to the ritual. It was also the same day the Friends actor died. And of course, he'd been doing that commercial. But I just want you to see how his mom passed 112 days before the Super Bowl. She died October 24th. The Super Bowl was February 13th. That was 112 days prior. Snoop Dogg's 112. Super Bowl's 112. And not the first time we've seen these patterns. You know, this stuff happens again and again and again. And just for another thing that's in the news, another death of a person that's circulating out there in the mainstream headlines. Young freshman cheerleader at a historically black college in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Southern University. They're saying she was found dead from suicide in May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. This entire year has been dominated by suicide headlines, but it seems like it's really going to ramp up in this month because there's been a lot of this month. And by the way, they just announced, the federal government, that there will be a new suicide prevention hotline. And just as a reminder that your government does everything by the code day after day, just like your media. Notice the new hotline is going to be called the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which equals 168. And it's going to launch on July 16th, the day leaving 168 days left in the year. And again, from the start of this year up through now, it's just, I've never seen so many suicides in a single year. And again, just how it all works together, the government, the news, the propaganda, the mind control. We've been saying, why are they doing this year? Why so many suicide stories in the headlines? And it very well could be because they're prepping people and in a way introducing the idea of like, listen, look at how many of your favorite celebrities committed suicide this year. I mean, even Naomi Judd did the day before she got entered into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And again, so many people idolize and worship celebrity and want to be like them. And again, the powers that shouldn't be have shown us that the road ahead is going to be real dark. You know, all sorts of uncertainty. You know, they're forecasting the next pandemic worse than the last one. They're saying the market's so uncertain. You know, people's retirement could be completely out the window. Your job might be gone. You might be useless. You might be replaced by a Sophia. They're giving a lot of people a lot of reasons to sing the blues. And sometimes when people sing the blues too much, they end up, you know, ending themselves. And again, population control's a real agenda. And that's another thing they're talking about out there. But that is kind of my take on what they're doing. Talking about suicide so much actually is a way to introduce it as a greater possibility for your own life. And, just stories like this. Young, pretty woman supposedly found dead from suicide. And I just want you to notice why she might have been chosen for this ritual. Notice how her name is 116, like African American, like Southern University Jaguars. And again, this is a historically black college. For the record, Barack Hussein Obama 116, the nation's first black president. The Jesuit motto in Merum Dei Gloriam's 116. And we were just talking about 54. Guess what day she was found dead? On May 4th. On May 4th. And I find this post right here. Let me zoom it in so you can see that it was May 4th. This is from the university on their Twitter account. But the post about her death on May 4th, I just find it so bizarre. Why did they choose to show her that way without her face zoomed in on her body? I mean, sweet lady can't stand the whole cheerleader thing. She thinks it just makes women just look like all they are is sex objects. And I think that is kind of the point of the cheerleader, which again, I mean, some women like being sex objects, so to each their own. But anyway, I mean, what kind of post is this? A post of just focusing in on her legs and her stomach and her little skirt. I mean, I don't know. It seems really twisted to me. But the other thing about this young woman, Arlana, how you say her name, if that's how you pronounce it correctly, but how the spelling is right. The spelling equals 47, like suicide, like mental health, and she's dead in Mental Health Awareness Month. And then her name has the 53 and 82 in it. We were just about this. The numbers that go with Vesica Pisces, the shape that represents the feminine. Page 90 of my first book, Letters and Numbers, talks more about that. And yeah, I mean, just, the ongoing suspicious suicide themes. It's been celebrities, it's been college students, it's been all sorts of people this year, just nonstop suicide headlines. I've been trying to keep up with them. I'm sure I've missed a few. Also, yesterday in the news on 5/6, CNN had this up on their front page. Inside the bleak conditions on the USS George Washington. And the article talks about how in the past year, 7 members of this boat have been found dead from suicide. And of course, George Washington himself died in very suspicious fashion. And keep in mind, the ship's named after a president, right? President has that gematria 47, like White House, like government, like authority. And it's not to say that there's a direct link with suicide and president, but it is to say that they have the same gematria. So maybe it makes sense that on a ship named after a president, we're hearing about so much suicide. That's the point I'm making. And this article was running on 5/6. Washington, D.C. is another 56, like Society of Jesus. And again, they're the ones that are behind the rituals, the mind control, the propaganda, the steering of society. And yeah, so I am remaking this video for the second time. The last video was a little bit longer. I had more to say, but I was bummed to find that somehow my face in the audio was completely dropped from the stream. I've never seen it do that before. So it did make me start the video twice. So somehow, because there was like some error when I started it the first time, and then I clicked the button again. Maybe that's how it dropped. After the error, maybe it dropped me. And then anyway. My bad. I saw people in the comments who were like, how did he just make a half-hour video and not notice that he wasn't on there? You guys, I'm not looking at the chat when I present. I don't find much benefit from looking at the chat. Usually it's mostly a bunch of trolls and people talking about other stuff. But again, I'm looking at the screen and presenting the information. So that's how I can go on for 30 minutes without realizing that there's no audio. But yeah, we will leave it there for now. We'll keep this one a little bit shorter. And again, thank you to everyone who likes and shares the videos and helps get the knowledge out there. I realize that we do live in a world where people are overwhelmed with all sorts of problems on the treadmill of life, and thinking about things like this just probably adds to. Well, it's probably for most people, it's just one thing that it's like, why? Like, I'm not that person. I don't need to worry about that too. But the answer to why you actually do need to look at it is because you need to look at what's going on in the world. The people who control the world, the powers that shouldn't be, it's like a vice. And every day the squeeze is getting worse on all of us because the evil that's out there, because you think it's not your problem when it is. Again, all the evil they do impacts the whole world, All the negative vibrations they put out there in their media every day, it impacts all of us. And I've been explaining this for a long time. And if we don't change, And again, you guys, I mean, the way to change the power structure is with a revolution. That's what needs to happen. There needs to be a revolt against evil. And for all the Christians out there constantly making videos saying that I'm a shill and teaching people demonic numerology, again, I'm sharing knowledge of how evil operates. It's called know your enemy, know who your enemy is, know the way they operate so that you can stop it. That's not evil. You're supposed to shed light on darkness. Again, a lot of you don't know anything even about your own religion. You know, you guys are so confused and lost. You're actually a part of the evil and part of the problem. Everybody who's ever accused me of being evil and a misleader is, truly, you better take a look in the mirror because you're actually evil. You're trying to expose someone who's doing something that's never been done before. There's never been this much light shed on evil before. Nobody figured out their code before and how they operate day by day or who they were. There are people that knew that the Jesuits were bad news, but no one ever figured out their code and how they operate day after day, which you can prove day after day, every single day. And a little bit later, I'll be doing another stream to talk about one of my favorite villain Jesuit pawns, Bill Gates, because he's back at it again. But if you guys don't follow the website, GematriaEffect.news, it is where I post the information that I end up presenting in videos. And if you guys are not following all the different YouTube channels that I'm using right now because all the censorship, I've created a new thing where once I get 2 strikes, I move on to a new channel to try and preserve the channel so we don't lose all the content as we have so many times. Over 20-some channels deleted to date. But again, right now, Gematria Effect News 22, Gematria Effect News 23, Gematria Effect News 24, Gematria Effect News 25, Gematria Effect Sports. Those are all the channels I have going. I'm also on Twitter, trying to use some of these other social media platforms. You search Gematria on these platforms, you'll probably find me. So, all right, we'll leave it there for now. And well, was going to leave it there for now, but I can't figure out where to end the stream at. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. All right. I think we got it out there this time. Again, thanks to all. And until next time, Truth Seeker.